What I'm going to do in this video is take you through the process of what Ben and I have to do when we first go to a project. So we've had the initial emails on the drawings over from the architect last week. We've just met with the architect this morning to go over what his expectations are within the build and what we need to price for. So the bit of a process with a tender, it's not, we just can't make up the price. Obviously we've got to get the electrician's price in, the plumber's price. Well, with this barn, it's a barn conversion, so it's an old cattle barn, so there's a tin walls and an asbestos roof. So we've got to wait for asbestos man to come now to give us his price. So I'm waiting currently outside the project. What I'll do is I'll walk through the project and just say the things that we've got a price for and things we haven't got a price for and little things like that. I'll just talk you through where we are with this project at the moment. So this is a garage that we'll be converting. This is the project that we'll be looking at. This is basically what the build is going to look like. It's going to be a very similar shape to what it is at the moment. And then the rest of the barns are getting demolished. So what the process is, all asbestos on the ceilings and the roof, so that needs taken away safely. All of the walls are tin, and there's a lot of concrete walls at the bottom that need addressing. So concrete everywhere basically inside, so that needs broken up and crushed away, taken away or crushed on site and left for us to do a big driveway. So there is quite a lot of work just to get our boys on site ready to start the build. So we've had a brilliant meeting with the architect and the client on site. We've talked through all aspects of what the project is going to entail. So we have now had the formal paperwork and all the drawings from the architect. So what Ben and I are going to do now is going to spend a couple of days breaking down everything that we need to start pricing it correctly. So what we do is Ben and I break down in a couple of areas. So the first things first is that we know that the M&E stuff, which is the electrical, plumbing, solar, things like that, they take a long time to come back from our merchants and our suppliers with their quotes. So what we do is we send those off straight away. That gives us time then to price up all the timber and the tiles and the flooring and everything like that. So it's a couple of weeks. We've got 4 weeks to price this project. So what we're going to do is try and attack it for the first couple of weeks, and then we'll wait then for all of our prices to come in, and we'll be able to, the last week or so, we'll be able to then get all our prices and make sure that we're happy with all the costings.
Okay, so the trusses have been offloaded, put to one side. The lorry's about to leave now, and we're going to start putting these on when the masons are up to wall plate, which will be about a week's time. So we'll film that for you guys then. All going on today. Guys are putting the last course of blocks on up there, and I've got the wall plates to put on this afternoon. Scaffolders are also here. They're putting the roof lift on because we've got the crane booked in on Monday to put the trusses on. So yeah, all go, loads of progress, really good stuff. We'll have a look around now. Plum's getting nice and early, and we'll get filming quickly, very good on the site. Crane was here shortly after me, about 25 to 8. Just getting set up now. You can see all the trusses behind me ready to go up. The guys are just marking out the wall plate, exactly where they want to be putting those roof trusses, and it's all looking pretty rosy. It's nicely clear, it's not too windy, so perfect day for some crane work. Yeah, hopefully half a day until we're done. Okay, so we've got 7 trusses on in about an hour and 15 minutes. So it's all going well. The one you can see in my head here is this gable end we put on, and we put the far gable on, strung a line in between, just to make sure we'll get them level now. And the next one is coming in over my head now on the crane. We've got James on this side of the wall plate, doing the banksman duties down to the crane driver, and then we've got Darren and Alex on this side fixing on, and I've been getting James' hand up there. So yeah, all going well, and I think the crane driver will have an early day. Okay, so the banksman down on the ground has slung up the next truss. They're all in line, nice and easy for them to get. Comes up on the block. Here it comes. up over our heads, and then it'll be on a guide rope on the one side, lower it down onto these wall things. Okay, so crane's gone. Trusses went on nice and easily. Instead of 12, they went on in 4 hours, which is good. The next job is to do all the bracing, which the chippies are starting to do above my head now. Once all the bracing's in, we can start looking to get some felt coverings over. May or may not be today, but tomorrow. Yeah, all good.
You can see now the boys have nearly finished all the brickwork on this gable end. We're just starting putting the felt on the back side of the roof, so all the face soffits are on the wall side.
Okay, so we'll go today. Over my shoulder here, we've got some of the guys battening out the roof, ready for the slates to go on in the next couple of weeks or so. I believe the soffit fascia, most of the barge boards are done already, so that's really good. Inside, a few of the carpenters are doing the stud work, 4x2 tannalised timber for the internal partitions, making the door openings correct and all that sort of stuff. And then over here in the grounds behind me, we have the drainage field going in. We instated the package treatment plant a couple of months ago during the groundwork phase, so they're back now to do the drainage field. And this morning we've also had, I'm not sure if you can just see there over my shoulder, we've had the delivery of the green oak for the porch section, so we'll jump on that at the start of next week as well, all being well. So yeah, cracking day, lots going on. So what the ground team have done here is excavated 2 big holes for the reed beds which are going in. They are just over there. 2 reed beds to go side by side, and that comes directly off the treatment plant, which is buried just over there. And then outletting from this will be the drainage field. First of our windows has just gone in, fitted perfectly in the aperture, which is always nice. We have fitted them back on straps, pushed him nice and tight up to the window lintel, and then just going to foam it in now as well, and then from the outside they'll be pointed up at a later date.
I'm going to walk you through this house now that we're building. We've got Mark Walker Electrical here at the moment, just first fixing the first floor. What we've got to do, we've got to put all the wires in the ceiling first and then insulate it, otherwise it's a bit of a palaver then to try and move the insulation around whilst he's doing his first fix electrical work.
Tin back in action, demonstrating a stomp and roll technique there. Tried and tested technique by the electricians. Wow. So the slate roof is going on. It's not actually a slate, it's a composite replica slate. This is the slate that was specified on the drawings, and we are using these little copper rivets. Those little things, you can see them at the bottom of every slate there. The purpose of those is essentially to keep the slate down to the roof. We're in an area that is quite prone to wind because it's up on a bit of a bank. So using these little copper rivets helps keep the slates all bedded down and the uplift of the wind and the rain driving upwards. Even though it's a quite steep pitch, 37.5 degrees this roof, that's the function of those. So it takes a little bit longer to put them all on the roof, but it's going well. You can see the guys nearly finished on this back side now, and then we'll jump onto the front eave side of the house and finish off with the ridges. Right, and while that's going on outside, upstairs all the stud work's been flying in. We've had Darren on board with us this week, giving us a hand. So how the process started was we insulated between the roof trusses, 120mm kingspan, and then below that we have some 18mm OSB. That was the structural engineer specified below the collar. That's going to help with the racking of the roof. Racking is when the roof can essentially do this, the roof trusses can do that, so that makes racking. And then we've got another 50mm of insulation below that to prevent cold bridging. And then we're into our stud work. So they've been all scaled out to the laminates that we have on site, and the door opening's been put in the right place. There's a door opening behind me here. This is the opening into the master bedroom, which is the one we're in here. Behind me is the ensuite, just there. A couple of areas, most of these areas up here are vaulted, which is a nice feature. There's a couple of flat ceilings, which creates a bit of a void in the roof space above. Now, in the drawings, they didn't specify any attic space, but it became apparent as we were joisting this out that it's a bit of a missed opportunity. So I had a meeting with the clients and we said, look, we can actually deck out these areas, put a hatch in somewhere, use it for Christmas decorations, luggages, that kind of thing. So that's a little uplift that came in a couple of days ago. Multi-trade is cutting out the stud work through the doors there. The noise you can hear with the reciprocator saw. So yeah, all flying along upstairs. The next phase will be putting all the window boards in and the door linings, and then continuation of the first fix. So all looking good. Let's take a closer look. A liquid screed's been put down now and it's cured over the weekend. So we've just run a level on it to double check everywhere, and it's within a mil tolerance, which for the hardwood flooring down here will be absolutely perfect. So really good stage to get to in the build. All the first fixing can be done now. There's a few timber stud walls to go on the ground floor, but the rest of the work's cracking on upstairs. Let's take a look. Okay, so we are finally round to cutting the green oak frames here, and we're starting on the porch. It's all cut traditionally using mortise and tenon jointing techniques. Basically, you shape the wood in such a point you've got like a sticky bit on the end, and that goes into a slot in the other piece of wood, and they're joined with a timber peg through the joint. So yeah, we've started marking and cutting some of them now, so I'll talk you through marking out a tenon in a bit more detail. Okay, so on the end of this timber is a post. It is a 200 by 200 millimeter post in green oak. So to mark the tenon, first of all, we've cut a square edge on the end of it, and Aaron is now marking out the tenon down to the shoulder. The tenon will be 38 millimeters thick. So those two lines he's put on there are 19 mil either side of the center of that post. So we have a central tenon. Plumbing those lines down now because we cut those all the way through down to the shoulder. I'll take you around and show you what the shoulder is. Okay, so this line here, you can see it goes all the way around. That is called the shoulder. Now it's called the shoulder because that is the joint where this piece of timber will meet another piece of timber exactly. So now we have shoulder lines and the tenon position marked all the way around the timber. So the next step is to cut this with a circular saw. Okay, so Aaron's cutting the shoulder now, the shoulder line that we looked at a second ago, neatly on that pencil line. So where you see the saws come through there, the depth of that blade has been set so it finishes exactly on the tenon. It means there's less for us to waste after the saw's done its work. So that's adjusting the saw depth again, so we don't cut into the tenon, setting it down to the line he's already marked out. Readjusting the saw blade now to go the full depth from the end of the timber down to the shoulder. And if it all works nicely, you'll see 2 cheeks of oak just drop away when Aaron's cut through there. No pressure.
No pressure. Just like that.
So the last bit to do is just to take any of the waste away that's just in the corner of the saw blade. Didn't come out, but as you can see, the cut was nice and neat, so the tenon is shaped pretty much perfectly. And we'll finish off just by putting a little chamfer on the end of the tenon, so it doesn't there's less chance of that joint becoming bound inside the mortise. But yeah, that's one half of a traditional framing joint.
Camera and film, yeah. Don't work with it like
No, you can't. Get those sockets on the wall. Okay, so yesterday we looked at tenons. Today I've started doing all the mortising to accept those tenons. It's the other part of the joint. So this is a chain mortiser. There's different variations on how they come, but this is a Ryobi edition. Essentially, it's sort of like a mounted chainsaw onto the machine here. It's on a plunge system that you drop into the oak and the chain spins around and takes out the oak and gives you this lovely curved sawdust here. So yeah, there's a few adjustments, a few settings you've got to move back and forward to make sure you're getting it in the right line. But yeah, I'm going to do some mortising now. This is what it looks like. Okay, so we are looking here at the bottom of a corner post, which means it's one of the uprights on the corner of the building. And you can see 2 mortises here and here, both accepting sills, one going back in that direction, one going back in that direction. You will also notice this groove here, all the way up. Now, that is part of our weatherproofing system. We basically insert a small sort of 50mm section of DPC there in front of the item of joinery that will be going up there, and then with some external beading that helps keep the seal of the water out. Okay, so part of the planning conditions of this build, being in a tight urban with restricted access plot, is the house has to have a fire suppression system installed, which is basically a sprinkler system in every room. The architect has gone with this company called iMist, and the only slight difference than a traditional sprinkler system is iMist, hence the name. It mists water into the air, so if there is a fire, it puts it out very quickly without damaging all the goods inside the house. So they're currently on site putting this in now ahead of the air test next week. So we'll take a look at some of their install. So we've had the mains water connected today, and we have been waiting for this one for a while, I will be honest. I'll just peep over the barrier and you can see the mains blue pipe there. That blue pipe is the one we instated from the house, and it connects onto the mains feed in the road there. That's a 32mm MDP pipe, and today is the 13th of July and we've actually been waiting for this. It was originally scheduled on the 7th of June, but for some reason Morrison's water services, who subcontract to Welsh Water, had to change the date, and I was also told that resurfacing would happen on the same day. However, it's now 4:15 and there is no sign of a resurfacing team, so this, I imagine, will be like this overnight. But you know, they've made it all safe with the barriers, and the pedestrian access is still there for the public. So yeah, good to get this in situ, and once that's been resurfaced in the road, it should be tickety-boo. That's the main stopcock in the road there. Obviously we'll have one in the house all the way down there.
So we're in the heart of the house now, the plant room. This is where all the MVHR, the batteries for the solar, the water cylinder, everything is going to be going. So all the client can keep it in one room tucked away. We have a air test next week. So what that means is we've had to tape all of the windows, the edges of the windows, so we can't get any air penetration. So what that means now is we can't board the outside of the walls, because just in case there is a leak anywhere, we need to be able to get to it. So what that means is we can do all the internal walls on the one side, so then the electrician can still come in and do his wiring on the other side. So when Tuesday happens, what that means then is it frees up the whole house then, so we can then start plasterboarding and get it plastered, which is a really big stage in a build. The last couple of builds we've been doing for Passive House, these are internorm windows. So we've had 3 builds now and they've all been internorm windows. These are triple glazed, fantastic, timber on the internal, alley on the external, and they are beautiful windows to work with. So you can see down here now where we've taped all the joints, everywhere like that is airtight all around the perimeter. So we've got the beautiful shingles here and the brickwork here. So we needed a transitional piece here to marry these two up. So what we came up with was a beautiful design. So this got a slight angle on it here. So if the water ever comes down here, it can run off and goes down the face of here. And it's just a smarter, crisper finish compared to lead. Got the air test happening at the Passive House build in Hereford. So just getting everything prepped up, ready for him to be able to start doing his test.
Okay, so we've just had the air test results from our passive build, and they were really positive. They were 0.64, and to be passive you only need to get it to 0.6, which is a very low score, and to get that on your first test is quite an achievement. So once the place has been plasterboarded and plastered and the skirting's on and stuff, it only adds to the air tightness. So we're hoping for a score of somewhere between 0.3 0.4 for the second test at completion. So yeah, great news, well done by the team. Okay, so we are at the plastering stage now on this build. Plasters are actually just down the hall there. We'll go and take a look in a second how they're getting on. Quite a complex space to plaster, as you would have noticed in the build. There's a lot of angles, tight corners, big bits to get around. So the guys spent the day beading and scrimming up through the bedroom quarter sort of the other day. We'll go take a look how they're getting on. Some of the corners are so tight they've had to actually bond those out first to get a nice little round through the trowel. We'll take a look at that. So the plasters are probably going to be in here all of this week and most of next. And then following on from that, we've got the decorator coming in to do a mist coat everywhere. So really good progress. We'll take a bit of a closer look now. Okay, so in the plant room, you can see all the wiring to the distribution board. Above, we have the first fix MVHR pipework coming out of the ceiling. And there's the in and outlets over on the wall to the external. Underfloor heating manifold. And all the pipework for the domestic hot water cylinder.
With multiple jobs on the go currently, it's key that Ben and I get our schedule of work synced properly. So what we've been doing is really be working our schedules over all of our jobs to make sure all the staff are in the correct position and the correct jobs per day. So what happened here now is all the house in our passive house in centre of town has been mist coated. Brilliant job by the plasterers and the painter. And we've now sealed all of the ground floor floors, and the bamboo engineered floor is going down.
Stand up tightly, that's it, don't let it drip, perfect. See all this done? I'm going to try and spread it so we don't see any floor.
You can stop it about there. Okay, stop. Perfect. A bit more spreading. That's not bad, you know.
That's it, that's really
Very good. Your Uncle Dave and Cousin Luke will be proud. Right, a little walk round with how we're getting on. Courtyard, the area that's going to have Indian stone has been all the type 1s down but not yet compacted, and the sleepers are all around here. We're just going to bring some topsoil in a couple of weeks, about 8 inches worth. So yeah, courtyard's coming on quite nicely, and then heading inside, all this floor through the kitchen hallway and down into the living area has been laid, and we've protected it because it's pre-finished. Here you go, we can see here it's an engineered board. Engineered, and it's bamboo. I think there's about 7-8 mil worth of laminate on there, so a decent board, pre-finished bamboo, hence why we're protecting it really well. So like I said, it's all the way through here. And through into the office, which is all looking really smart and crisp at the moment. Then if we head through, smile, snug / sewing room, we're calling this. Floors down. We got the plant room here, Carndine flooring's been put down, and then we're just awaiting some second fix work. Main bathroom here. Some of the second fix plumbing has started. You can see shower trays down in the bath. We're going to start putting the panels on this afternoon, and then we can carry on with the taps and whatever. Toilet's going to be here and basin. So if I can just sneak round the flooring that's down. Sorry. So yeah, this is the master bedroom. Process of the flooring is we started in the kitchen, back down there, and then you have to work your way through because there's only going to be a couple of thresholds, but we wanted to get the boards all lining up, so going to run them all the way through and then cut the thresholds in afterwards. So yeah, main bedroom coming through into the walk-in wardrobe. This will have the same bamboo engineered flooring, and then the ensuite bathroom, same really hard wearing Carndine flooring again. Shower, cubicle, bath, and then you've got the sink and toilet in the corner here.
Little update of where we are. As you can see, the boys have done a huge amount of groundworks here now, the landscape team. We are putting our 2-story extension right on the back of this house. So it's coming out from that top right gable, And this single story extension, that is all go with a conservatory, and that's where our new build is going. Lads are up top now, taking all the tiles off. We are re-roofing this whole house. Channy is down there, putting a new meter box in. We've got a lot of internal work to do afterwards. So it's going to be quite a nice big project for us to get our teeth back into.
So we're pouring the footings at our new job. Just turn the camera on, it's out of charge. So iPhone it is. So the concrete starts to come in now in the trenches behind me. We've got Radbournes out there in Tomfin that we're going to bring around. A little bit different this one, the trenches are very shallow. Head over, you'll see. It was always planned to be a metre trench down here, but quite soon after excavating, the guys were hitting rock. So what happens in that scenario is you need a structural engineer to come out and have a look at the footings as a whole when they're excavated and see if he's happy with an infill in that. And in this case, the engineer was happy for us to infill with a 350 concrete, I think, is going in there, which is, like I said, a change to the standard regulation, but okay once you've got approval from somebody. So yeah, we'll take a look at the concrete going in now. So the concrete's going in, and the guys set the laser level up here, and they got the staff over there. Arnie's holding the staff, and as Tom brings the concrete round, they're spreading it to the level. If anything with concrete, you're okay to finish a few mil high if you want, because it will shrink a little bit during the curing process over the next 24 hours. But they'll look to get these footings in level within a couple of mil to this laser the whole way through. Creamy and delicious, that's what they say. Okay, so the footings are all in and they are lasered through within 2 mil tolerance level. The little bit of leftover we had was a tiny amount, just enough to bed a manhole down on here. Washing the dumper out, get all the kit clean, job done.
Boys have been working really hard over the last week or so. We've got the concrete pad down and they've been doing the traditional build, which is a block and block frame. So we are about a week away for having the carpenters on site to start putting the timber floors on.
One.
There you go, perfect.
That's a coffee with one, that's a tea with one.
You having a coffee with one? Coffee with one, Chan?
Tea with one. I'll have anything, don't worry.
Hang on.
No drama.
Well, there's
Tea. So we are in the new utility room. We are up to seal height, so the window openings have been made. So as soon as the window openings have been made, we can now confirm the size of the windows. This is a 6-inch block on the exterior and a cool therm insulation, and then a normal standard 4-inch block on the inside.
Wow, you look so perfect. I'll hit the ground if you keep on looking at me like that.
In the site compound now, where we're keeping all our materials, so all the RSJs have turned up. So this is the exterior one. This goes on the 6-inch block, and then we've got the spacers in between, the metal spacers, to keep it rigid, and that will get bolted together. So the first floor of this build is a timber frame. So it's on the ground floor, it's a traditional block and block, and then up on the first floor it's a timber. So what we need to do is we need to bolt some timbers onto this to make it structurally sound.
So the external leaf 6-inch steel is on, and we're about to lift up the internal one and bolt them together now. We did film the external leaf going on. Someone whose name rhymes with Pally didn't press record. So here we go, inner leaf. Okay, both steels are in place. Pretty good. You can see the connecting bolts, spacer bars through there. We're going to bolt them up now. See how they line through. Find the old Craig up a bit, my end. It's frustrated. Hang on, down a bit. Whoa, right, hang on. Push through. Nice. So I've just had a phone call from the architect of the Class Q barn conversion we recently quoted for, and the good news is we have been appointed main contractor for the project, which is great. So the next phase of us now is working towards contract signing. This particular one, because the scale will be an intermediate JCT contract. So there'll be a few preliminary questions I've got to get to the clients and the architect ahead of setting a schedule. But great news for Aspire and the team, and we're really looking forward to getting stuck into this next Class Q.